Good morning. Hand today is going to be ace 3 of hearts. We are on the button, open raise, and we get a call. So big blind going pretty big here. 11 hands. Probably tightening up a little bit more than I should here. Just started. Want to give, play a little bit tighter. This is a 5NL game. Players tend to be a little bit looser. Actually, no, let's just go with this. Let's say this is our range. Let's work on it. Just all suited. It's folded to us. We're going to raise. We're going to raise small. We're going to attack and see if players are going to fold. So then we get a call. Villain, we've got a note that says, calls to bet from the blind with king 9 off. Probably this hand. So what I did was scale it up until I got the king 9. And then I think I want to add all of the offsuit aces as well. We block a lot, so we're at like 45.7%, which is pretty big range. I mean, much higher than the 18% VPIP, but we only have 11 hands, so I'm going to go with this wider range for him. We see a flop of Queen Jack 7. It doesn't really help us much. We've got a very wide range. Villain has a sizable range, not close to us. I mean, we're at 57%. He's at 46% or so. If he checks us, question is, what do we do? Do we c-bet in this spot? We have a possibility of a flush. We have possibilities of straights. We can definitely attack the player here. See if we can get him to fold. He's probably not going to be folding a lot. I don't necessarily think he's going to overfold because he has a lot of ways to connect. But there is Queen Jack out there, and he's any of the underpairs, any of like the sevens, I think might give him reason to pause and just say, you know what, I'm just going to fold here. 5NL game, maybe they call with all pocket pairs. I don't know. It's tough to say. So when we look at our range, if I include overcards, we've got about 24% as our bluff range. We've got about 14% for value if we have top pair plus. Probably we're not betting all of the top pair for value. I just don't think we're necessarily betting all of these. I think Queen 9 is okay because we have a possibility of picking up a gut shot. I mean, an 8 comes, we could pull a 10. We're only behind the ace king. We assume villain's going to raise, and I guess that's one thing I forgot to do. His raising range. Let's take out queens plus ace king, and just assume he would have 3-bet with those. So at this point, we're only c-betting about 36% of the time with our large range. I think we've got this idea where we could c-bet a lot, 70% plus, and then on the turn kind of back off and check behind, or we can kind of c-bet less frequently like this, where we're only c-betting about 36%, but we're going to be following this with a turn bet most of the time, or the majority of the time. So I kind of like this idea, just because you've got connected cards, and he is going to have quite a few connected cards. I think he's going to see quite a few hands that can continue. We're going to see, if we include gut shots, his flush draws, open enders. If we give him his pairs, including the bottom pairs, you're looking at 61% at least that he's calling. Probably doesn't call the pocket pair below the boards. Just given the texture of the flop, and even the bottom pairs a bit questionable. We could say 50% chance that he would have actually called that. So I think this is probably what we're going to be betting. Our hand ace 3. If we go with a lower frequency c-bet route, I think it's just going to be a check, and that's going to be balanced then by hands like. We do have some top pair hands. We're going to have our middle pair. We're going to have all of those. We're going to have some of our, 2-card backdoor flush draws and so forth. So we'll have to definitely kind of adjust, because you can see the no-made hands include like all of our flush draws and so forth. So what do? I did check, so we're going to go ahead and key that in as a check. And that means villain has all of his hands basically in his range. We'll X those out. So checking like 64% of the time. Villain has 100% of his range. You can see my hand just kind of becomes a bit weaker because I would have been betting top pair and so forth, but villain still has all of those hands. So the turn comes out ace of clubs, which helps us, connects with us. Villain checks. I think if he connects with the straight or set, he's probably checking. I think 2 pairs probably checking, but I think top pair could be a bet at this point. So I'm going to exclude top pair. I think the middle pairs are probably just going to be checks. So if we kind of exclude top pair, like the aces from his hand, you've got 80% of his range at this point, and it comes to us. What do? Well, now we've connected. I think we have some value that we should be pushing since we check. Probably betting two pair. We're probably betting quite a few of our top pair. You're going to see that we could have picked up flushes. So, if we just go with betting the turn flush or the gut shot, we need at least 30% value here. That kind of suggests that we're going to need at least our top pair hands, all of our top pair hands, and then some other stuff. But I don't think we're going to have enough all of those value hands. I don't think we can come up with all of those values. So if we just kind of back it off and say, we're going to bet some of our aces, I think the rest of the aces we're gonna check, it drops us down to like ace 5. So maybe what we do is kind of bet some of these like ace 6, ace 5 hands, maybe go down to ace 5. Ace 9, ace 8 blocks, has some straight blockers, so I think we can kind of bet. So if that's 11%, then we could find 11%. 11% bluff, and that's probably what we could bet with the flush draw, turn flush, like all of these clubs, and maybe that's what we bet. I didn't bet, I checked. This is kind of one of the reasons why we're going to review the hand to see what GTO is suggesting based on how we played it. So we're going to get rid of those. We're going to get rid of our 2 pair. Obviously, we still have these weak pair, middle pair hands. Let's get rid of our flush draw at this point. Give us our no-made hands. So let's say check. And we still have top pair. We could possibly have it in our range. 7 of clubs. And this guy, we're going to eliminate that top pair for him. So his range got a little bit weaker. 7 of clubs gets there. Can't really be scared of the flush. Villain checks. So I think at that point, once it goes check, check, I kind of think quads, any of these strong hands are out. Maybe there's a straight. We could say 50% straight. We could say 3 of a kind, maybe at 50%, just to kind of guard. Like he might look at it and say, we're going to try to get a little bit of value, betting more on the small side. Let's see, 50% here. Good 2 pair. Probably is going to be a check. Top pair is probably a check. So something like that. If we bet, what hands is he going to call with? If we bet, he's probably just going to call with all of those. Maybe he calls with a bad 2 pair, or maybe he calls with a middle pair. I honestly don't think he's going to call with a middle pair, which means that if he calls, he's going to likely beat us. So I'm not sure if we're going to get any sort of value from our hand. Obviously, we're going to bet 3 of a kind, but I think our top pair is probably just going to be a check. So we check behind. Villain shows king 9. Our hand held up, kind of what we thought he was going to have since we had a note on it. So I say let's check out GTO on this. Big range. Big range is, I mean, it takes a bit of time to run, but we already ran it. So we're looking at our c-bet frequency here. It looks like we're betting at about 45%, which is a little bit higher than what I had. You can see that definitely we are checking quite a bit. That's what GTO recommends. And if we look at our regular c-bet sizing, it looks like it's split between the larger sizing and the smaller sizing. I'm kind of curious about the smaller sizing. What are we doing that with? It's going to be the light blue. So it looks like our sets are about evenly split. Two pairs about evenly split. Over pairs look like they are more of the larger sizing in this situation, whereas top pairs, some of the top pairs seem to be split. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say it looks like somewhat of an even split. Sevens, so trip sevens maybe. So trip sevens, trip jacks might be slightly on the lower side, or favoring the lower side. We had ace 3 of hearts. You can see sometimes we're betting, sometimes we're checking here. Definitely check's gonna be okay, but if we're gonna be betting, our top pairs, and you can see our top pairs, we do have quite a few checks here, so we're pretty good on that. Yeah, we're pretty good with our top pairs. I think we're on the right track with all of those. I'm gonna guess they're including some of these middle pairs as some value possibly, and we're betting a little bit smaller on that. And I think some of the values we're going for is getting called by like 10s or 9s or 8s. I think we could get called by some of those. Flush draws are mostly bets here. We're not betting all of them. Some of the weaker flush draws we can toss in a check. So I'm gonna say, like, overall, I think our play was okay at this point. So we check it, and then Villain checks behind. So I kind of assumed Villain would be betting some of his straights, that he connected with, this 3 of a kind, 2 pair, top pair. I think straights and 3 of a kinds could definitely have been check raised. It's just, if we had more information on this player, maybe we have a better idea. Does he go for check raises, or does he just go ahead and attack once it gets checked through? But we're saying Villain checks here, so then it's on us, and we check 55% of the time, and we're checking again 67% of the time. We're betting our straights, we're betting our 2 pair, top pair. We're betting. We're starting to bet more of our top pair, and I think I was on the right track again here. So I like that idea. We had ace 3. Definitely we're betting like the ace 3 of diamonds, but we're not necessarily betting like the ace 3 of hearts that we had, or ace 3 of spades. We're balancing with our flush draws, not all of them, because I think we're tossing in those gut shots. We excluded the gut shots because the gut shots added more bluffs than what we needed. Here it looks like it's adding in some of these gut shots, and if we're going to add in some of the gut shots, then we're going to have to remove some of the flush draws that we have. So that's, I think, a reasonable play, and that means then by doing that, it's if a straight card comes, we could easily have it. If a flush card comes, we could easily have it. So I think our check was okay in this spot. 7 clubs. So then Villain checks again. And really, Villain's checking his premium hands, hoping for a check raise. He's betting his 3 of a kind, probably his top pair. He checks us, and then it comes to us. I think we could have bet a little bit here with our top pair hands. We bet. We're hoping Villain calls with a queen or a jack just to call down. And I think that's the reason why we're betting here. If we bet and we get raised, which I think we would, anything with 3 of a kind or better, we just fold the hand. 2 pairs, we're going to be behind. Top pairs, we're going to be behind, or we could be behind. He could have ace 2, but I think he's supposed to call with a weak middle pairs. Um, that paired the board. So yeah, I think he's probably calling. So yeah, that changes that. I didn't catch that 7 paired the board. Um, so yeah, with the having the ace, maybe we should have bet here, go for a little bit of value. Maybe we get him calling just a bluff catch. So like king 9 looks like it's a bluff catch here, because he goes with sevens, and then you play ace king and queen. And I think that's a mistake. I think up to this point we did okay, and we could go for a little bit of value. So this is about half pot. It's betting about 50% of the time here. We're betting middle pair plus, so betting those queens, hoping we get called by worse. I don't think villain's gonna fold any pair, but I think jacks are probably gonna call. A queen's gonna probably call. So we should have gone for a little bit of value. Yeah, and again, I missed that the pair board here. So overall, I think this was okay. I think the hand was played okay. Definitely with the wide ranges, the check here is doable with our hand. We didn't really have much draw potential, but we did spike the ace on the turn. So if we choose to bet, I think that could have been okay. If we bet, I don't think villain's playing. I don't think he'll call. But if he does call and checks to us, then we could bet again, because now we have 2 pair aces and sevens with the queen kicker. That kind of makes sense. But yeah, overall, I think we missed a little bit of value. So hopefully you enjoy the hand. If you do, you can look tomorrow for another.